Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Here she goes. Great ass! And you got your head all the way up it. Say hello to my little friend.
Hoo-ah! Oh, yeah.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming.
Where are they, man? Come on, where are they? Give these people's families closure, man. Give them closure. You're on national television now. Millions of people are watching you. Come on.
Hi all and welcome back to another installment of my Al Pacino retrospective review series. I'm your host Jeff, 101 Bronson as always, and today's episode is going to be episode 10 of season 3, the 10th episode already. And on today's one, we're going to be taking a look at the 2007 thriller 88 Minutes, directed by Jon Avnet, starring of course Al Pacino alongside Neal McDonough, Alicia Witt, LeeLee Sobieski, Amy Brenneman, William Forsythe, Ben McKenzie, among others. This was probably the first film of Pacino's that I saw right after being exposed to the great man in Scarface when I was 11 years old. I remember we always had the DVD of this. This is of course the Blu-ray, but we always had the DVD of this in our household. So that was one of the first films I gravitated towards after being exposed to him, because I was like, hey, it's the same guy from that film that I fucking love. It's, yeah. So this was, I hold a bit of nostalgia for this one, as this again was the first film of Pacino that I saw right after Scarface, after falling in love with Pacino and Scarface, right? After becoming fascinated with Pacino. You know, all those things. Although, of course, 88 Minutes is nowhere near as good as Scarface, I still do really like 88 Minutes. As such, it's probably one that I do hold in a bit higher regard than most people. How much? Well, that's what we're going to find out. So without any further ado, here's my review for 88 Minutes. The plot of the movie goes as follows. In 1997, forensic psychiatrist and college professor Dr. Jack Graham, played by Al Pacino, testifies at the trial of suspected serial killer John Forsythe, played by Neal McDonough, dubbed the Seattle Slayer by the police. Graham's testimony and expert psychiatric opinion are crucial in the conviction of Forsythe for the attempted killing of Janie Cates, played by Tammy Huey, and the murder of her sister Joni, played by Vicky Hung, who was drugged, hanged upside down and killed after the killer invaded the sister's apartment. Upon receiving a guilty verdict from the jury, Forsythe taunts Graham, saying, "Tick-tock, dog." 9 years later, as Forsythe's execution date approaches, several similar torture murders occur, leading the FBI and a special task force to believe that Forsythe might have been wrongfully convicted. On the eve of Forsythe's execution, Jack receives a phone call from an altered voice telling him that he has only 88 minutes left to live. With the support of associate Shelley Barnes, played by Amy Brenneman, an FBI agent Frank Parks, played by William Forsythe, and his assistant Kim Whitman, played by Alicia Witt, Jack investigates some weird and problematic students, a security guard at the campus, and a woman with whom he had a one-night stand, on top of figuring out who keeps on calling him and doing it all within the set deadline of 88 minutes. It's a solid thriller in my opinion, which I know not everyone necessarily agrees on, but as stated previously, this was the first film of Sir Al that I saw right after being introduced to him after Scarface, so I might personally be a bit clouded in my judgment by the nostalgia I hold for it. First things first, I always heard people say the plot was predictable and the twist one could easily see coming. Well, I didn't personally had that problem when I watched it the first time, so yeah, that's not one of the issues for me with this film. The acting overall is very solid, with the best performance of course being Pacino himself. It is a role that definitely doesn't ask or demand all too much from someone as versatile and legendary as he is, but this never stops him from giving it his all regardless. He did say in his autobiography Sonny Boy that this is one of the films that he did in the period where he went broke due to a bad accountant who embezzled most of his money. And so he took the role in this film, which he recognized as a lackluster script, and went in with the mindset that perhaps I can give enough of an effort to maybe make it a mediocre or average film, compared to an outright terrible one. Knowing this and paying close attention to his performance this time around, I can say, well, he succeeded there. But man, he definitely did not go lazy and phone it in, as they say, so I definitely applaud his performance once more. Bravo, Al. Neal McDonough as convicted serial killer John Forsythe turns in a solid performance as far as I'm concerned as well, despite actually not having a whole lot of screen time to be fair, as his character is mostly operating behind the scenes, so to speak, as he's in prison for most of the film. Kudos to the performance though, with a special standout moment being the telephone interview with him and Pacino's character about midway through the film. Despite not being in the same room together, the two bounce off each other wonderfully there. Alicia Witt as Kim Whitman does a really good job as well, and as is to be expected with a thriller like this, One is never too sure about the character's true motivations, etc. within the plot, which I can say for most of the other actors and characters coming up as well. Amy Brenneman, an actress I've always liked quite a bit and who previously appeared in 1995's Heat with Pacino and De Niro as the latter's love interest. In this one, she plays Shelley, who kind of acts as Pacino's biggest support throughout the entire piece and turns in a really good performance as well here for sure. William Forsythe as FBI agent Frank, a longtime friend of Pacino's character, is another standout for me with a sizable enough part in the story. We previously discussed him in the review for Dick Tracy, in which he appeared as Flat Top, so this marks his second appearance in a Pacino film as well, and he's once again another actor I enjoy seeing in everything he pops up in. Fantastic and underrated actor who was another good addition to this film. Rest of the cast I pretty much all enjoyed as well, with Ben McKenzie, who besides this film I know mostly from the TV series Gotham, and LeeLee Sobieski in particular being two more good characters in this one with good performances to boot. The direction by Jon Avnet is decent enough in this one for me, and he would team up with Pacino once more in Righteous Kill, so I think they must have hit it off, because as we've learned throughout this review series, if Pacino likes a director, there's usually a follow-up collaboration. Think of Francis Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma, Sidney Lumet, Jerry Schatzberg, or Harold Becker, just to name a few. And if he doesn't like a director, it's usually a one and done. Think of William Friedkin, think of Sidney Pollack, think of Arthur Hiller. The film has a good pace to it, and I didn't mind the soundtrack either. The film wasn't too well received by audiences and critics though, sadly. It even went straight to DVD in some territories, including in my homeland, the Netherlands. On an estimated budget of about $30 million, it ended up making about $32 million worldwide, which is far from a smash hit to be fair. At the time of doing this review, the film holds only a shocking 5% critic score and a bit more generous 44% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And over on IMDb, the film sits at a 5.9, so safe to say the general consensus is mixed on it. But yeah, myself will give it a 6.5 stars rating out of 10 once again. I will say to anyone that hasn't seen it, just give it a watch and make up your own mind on it. Don't listen to the naysayers, don't listen to the negative reviews too much. For what it is, it's an entertaining thriller with a solid cast and competently directed and put together. I recommend it, just watch it, make up your own mind on it. And that's that. So there you guys have it. That was my review for 88 Minutes from 2007. Again, it's a thriller that I do enjoy. Again, people, one of the common criticisms is, you see the twist coming. Oh, it's so many red herrings and all that stuff. Well, it probably was one of my first thrillers that I ever watched, so I didn't have any experience of watching thrillers and predicting twists and such. If I watch it today for the first time, I would feel different. But as such, I base it, of course, on the first time I watched it. That's when it first made an impact on me, and over the years, when you revisit, of course, when you revisit a film, you know what's going to happen and all that stuff. But still, I think it's a really good thriller. I think it's, Pacino does a good performance. This is one of the films that Pacino did for the money, according to his biography, his autobiography, Sonny Boy. He went into it with the mindset of like, okay, well, the script isn't good, but maybe I can bring something to it that will at least rise it up to a little, like a mediocre, like an above average kind of fare, right? And again, for me, he succeeded. For me, he absolutely succeeded. 88 Minutes. For me, it's a good one. Jon Avnet, he would go on to work with Pacino again in 2008's Righteous Kill. We do have one film before we get to that one, though. I always had the timeline mixed up. I thought it was 88 Minutes, Righteous Kill, and then Ocean's 13, but there's actually, the order is different there. But no, again, it's a good film. I like Neal McDonough as an actor. He's been in some good things that I've enjoyed. He's worked with Clint Eastwood. He's worked with Sly Stallone in Tulsa King, season 2. He's been amazing in that, in my opinion. I do like him. I do think he did a great job as a villain in this one. Alicia Witt, LeeLee Sobieski, well, they're not the most known actors, but I did like them in this film. Ben McKenzie, again, I know him from Gotham, the TV show Gotham. I thought he was great in that TV show. I thought he did a good performance here. He's not in it as much, but yeah, Amy Brenneman and William Forsythe, they're definitely strong additions to the cast. Definitely people I recognize. Both people worked with Pacino before. Like I said, William Forsythe was in Dick Tracy. Amy Brenneman was in Heat with Pacino and De Niro, so there's a good few connections there. But yeah, like I said, Jon Avnet will return with Pacino in another collaboration. But before we get to that, next week we are going to be taking a look at a big ensemble film of a lot of great stars. Pacino joined this third entry into this franchise, into this trilogy, because there hasn't been a fourth one, but there's been a reboot though. But no, 2007's Ocean's 13 coming up in the next episode, directed by Steven Soderbergh. With a great all-star cast. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia's in this one. Bernie Mac in this one reunites him as well with Alan Barkin. There we go. Yeah, Ocean's 13 next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Here's a shout out to my member of Crushes Movies and Games. Thank you so much for being a member and supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel further, you can do so via the link down in the description. And you would get early access to all of these Pacino reviews. Because I upload like 4 or 5 at a time. I record these, you know, back to back to back to back and just edit them as quickly as I can and put them out there for members to enjoy, and then they're going to premiere to everyone else. So if you guys want to get a sneak peek at the next few Pacino reviews, the next batch, go ahead and do so. The option is there. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy and keep punching. I will see you next week for Ocean's 13. Hoo-ah! Take care.